What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the homie Hangout, where we help others move with excellence. Maybe you're watching this on Rascal Reacts, where you ask for my 2 cents and I'll give you a nickel. I don't know where I'm gonna post it yet. We'll see. For those that haven't already heard, these are just two companion channels. It's all my content. It's all very similar content. Same stuff, different places to see it. It's not repetitive. I mean, if I post something on one, I'm not gonna post the same thing on the other. But it's really just to have two channels going in case one of these haters gets one of my channels shut down for a little bit. They don't stop the grind, right? And they don't stop the community that we are building on here. So anyway, stay tuned about all the bells and the subscribes and thumbs and all the cool stuff that everybody else with a YouTube channel asks you to do in support of them. I, of course, would greatly appreciate it if you did it in support of me as well. So what we talking about? Last night I'm live. Right, I'm live, homie hangout, having a good time, great community of people. It's like midnight, maybe 1 in the morning. And people start coming in the comments and saying, hey, what's up with Renegade Media saying that he's a Nuestra Familia shot caller? I was like, no, he didn't say that. There's no way. No. I felt like I was being trolled. They were like, nah, bro, Johnny Mitchell, the Connect. Yeah, he didn't say that. Really? I said, well, look, when I get off live, I'm going to go check it out. And then I got off live and I was tired, so I didn't. I went to bed. And then this morning, hanging out, drinking my coffee, enjoying my Sunday, and I hear, hey, Renegade is on Johnny Mitchell's channel, The Connect. I'm going to talk a little bit about Johnny Mitchell in a second. And he's saying that he's a Nuestra Familia shot caller. He was an NF member. And I'm like, let me see. Give me my damn phone. What the? Because I was like, not even Flacco said he was a shot caller, right? Like, this is extreme. And come to find out, Renegade, JayHandz, 59J, whatever you want to call it, he did not say that anywhere in the video. He said he was Northern Structured, Nuestra Raza. That is the same thing. That is not the same thing as the NF. It's a distinction with a difference, right? So he never said that. And so we wound up talking. And I was like, bro, what is this? And he's like, man, I emailed dude, or I messaged him, right? I messaged him and I told him, hey, why do you have this NF stuff on it, man? I never said I was NF. And if you watch the interview, which I don't even necessarily encourage just to keep it a buck, but if you watch it, in the early part, there's a picture of Jay standing there with a couple other guys. And on the bottom, it says Nuestra Familia something, right? Like it is throughout the video. It's a theme. But those words don't ever come out of Jay's mouth. It's just post-production editing. So Johnny Mitchell's response to, hey, like this ain't cool. I've never said this. It's misrepresentation. Is, I get around to it, man. But, haters are going to hate anyways. It's good for views, right? It is what it is. Not a big deal. I disagree. I disagree that it's not a big deal. Okay? I think that's a pretty shitty way to treat a guest. I don't care how big your platform is, right? You're lying on somebody. Now, let's be clear, to be fair, right? And even-handed. Renegade Media has already done content that put a target on him, okay? So it's not as if this error on Johnny Mitchell's part is going to necessarily... It's not the same as if he did that with somebody else. If he did that with somebody else who didn't have a target on him, that would put a target, right? Like that is potentially a life-threatening error. Titling a video that way, saying that somebody is identifying themselves this way. Because of the content that Renegade does, maybe there's less of that element, but it doesn't make it any less wrong. And that's really what I want to get down to. It's less about him as an individual and more about this phenomenon, right? Johnny Mitchell, for those that are unaware, and I'll be honest, I'm not very aware. I watched a little bit of his content a while back. It came across my feed. And within like 2 minutes, I was like, oh, this fool's one of them, right? He was talking about prison slang and how prison works and all sort of stuff. And it's just game goofy. Like, just just wrong, right? And I'm not entertained by that stuff, right? I'm not entertained by the Gangland show, for example. There are people who feel more informed about gang culture in this country because they have religiously watched every Gangland episode. I hate to tell you, but you probably know less about gangs in this country than you did before watching those episodes if you've watched them. Because now you know a bunch of shit that ain't fucking true. Okay? But you think you know because you heard it on TV, right? I get it. And this is not me putting down any of the watchers, any of the observers. Just saying that sort of thing I'm not into. Now, if it's a fictional series, oh, that's dope. I like fictional series and it is what it is. But when you pass something off as true and you're not being very truthful, you really don't know what you're talking about, I'm not into it. Actually, that reminds me. If you are into urban fiction, boom, look at this. And I don't get nothing for this, but Trench Talk, a Chirac Hood Tale by Unique Salam. I know the author. He's a friend of mine. He wrote a book, right? It is a fictional book, but based on his experiences in the streets of Chicago. And he really is about those experiences. I'll put a link to it on Amazon, man. If you guys are into reading still, check it out. It's a cool story, right? Like just an urban novel, I guess you would say. But anyways, there's a little plug for the homie's book. I was meant to do that a long time ago, but then I couldn't find the book when I finished reading it. So if you're into that sort of thing, I'm into that stuff too, but when it's fiction. So Johnny Mitchell, his whole thing is he's a drug trafficker. He was a drug trafficker. He was moving and shaking, and he did time in the Oregon State Penitentiary system. I did a little bit of homework. Not a lot, right? Just took a couple minutes to look around. Try to figure out who is this Johnny Mitchell guy. He looks like he's from the Portland area, and he went to high school. And straight out of high school, he had the grades and or the money to get straight into, Oregon State University. Good school in Oregon. So he goes to Oregon State. He gets a bachelor's degree in English. He's there for 4 years. And then shortly afterwards, he gets out of there around 2008. 2009, he catches a case. What case does he catch? Unlawful distribution of marijuana and money laundering, right? Catches a case, goes to court. They give him 25 months plus 3 years, 36 months. Yeah, 3 years on parole. Now, a year later, he catches another case. So he obviously didn't do 25 months on that first one, which I wouldn't expect you to do all your time on that. And that's like a distribution case. He gets another whopping 25 months in the Oregon State Penitentiary. And I don't know how much of that 25 months he does. The little clips I've seen, sometimes he says he did a year and a half, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. He's kind of all over the map. Realistically, who knows? Probably a year, some change maybe. So that is the extent of his criminal history, right? It sounds to me, and I don't know this for sure, but it sounds to me, especially with that first charge, he was probably involved in one of those like bootleg Silk Road, online dark web type shit, and because that's how you get the money laundering and the unlawful distribution of weed, but only 25 months and not anything more serious. Either that or you tattle on a bunch of folks, but I haven't seen anything to suggest that he did that, so I'm not going to put that jacket on him. But so that's him. And he then gets out of jail and he becomes a stand-up comedian, and he seems to take things that has a little bit of truth and weave a fantastic tale, right? And he has guests on his show that he overhypes. He has his own stories, which I think oftentimes are other people's stories. And if you've been around, he sounds fucking goofy. He sounds like a clown. But if you haven't been around, he sounds probably pretty informative. And he has an amazing studio. He has over 1 million subscribers. He is very successful at what he does. That doesn't mean he's honest and truthful. And my thing is, if you're going to interview somebody and you misrepresent who they are, and I'm sure in his mind, he's like, nuestra this, nuestra that, who cares, right? People care. There are some people that care deeply. And not only are you deceiving your audience and you're clickbaiting your audience, saying that you're providing a conversation with somebody, a type of person that you're not actually doing that with, but you're a guest, right? You're throwing them under the bus, and you have somebody else who has a podcast and everything else. You're doing wrong by them, but you don't care. And that's what I've noticed, right? Is in various forms of this social media, podcast, entertainment space, you have individuals who are on the margins of a lifestyle at best, which is fine. It's not a competition. I'm not saying that I was at the height of any lifestyle. It's not a pissing contest, right? But there are some who are on the margins of this lifestyle who are able to turn that into a very successful career. But they don't get what they're doing and the seriousness of it, and they really don't care because the blowback doesn't affect them. You know? Ain't nobody come after Johnny Mitchell because of how he titled a video, right? So it's just a different, like, they don't care. It's not serious to them. It's all entertainment. It's all clicks. It's all views. Relax. You should be happy on me. You're even on my platform, and I'm providing this audience. Nah, I'd be happier if you kept it real, you know? Like, let's try that. Let's try to have a little integrity. So, again, this is less about Renegade Media and his appearance on the podcast. I did not finish watching it all because I really don't fucking care. And I'm not a big fan of the channel, right? Of Connect. It's more about these culture vultures of sorts, right? And I'm not talking about an ethnic culture specifically, but it is an element of culture vulture, right? You're just picking from a lifestyle and a struggle and an experience that you haven't really sacrificed or know what it is to participate in, and you're monetizing it for your own gain. It happens a lot, but when somebody calls you on it, at least have enough decency to take it serious, right? So that's it, man. That's all I got to say. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Have you watched this Johnny Mitchell guy? What do you think of his show? What do you think of this situation? You know, there's a lot of people that stretch their storytelling a little bit here and there, you know, but this is different. You know, at least I think it is. But am I overreacting? Who knows? You guys let me know in the comments, and we'll go from there. Help others move in excellence. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it. Help your community because they need you. Stay tuned to the channel because I'm dropping more content on a regular basis. Rascal Reacts. If you ask for my 2 cents, I'll give you a whole fucking nickel. And give me some suggestions, man. We can talk about whatever. You guys take care.